I'm a mathematical guy. So let's reduce this to math. The Mastermind Alliance is all about math, and it's all about probability. So in terms of goal achievement, what can I do today to increase the probability that I'm going to hit my goal? And where the Mastermind Alliance is mathematical, it's pure raw math. So if I show up at my Mastermind Alliance, and Bruce is part of that Mastermind Alliance, so it's Bruce and I. And Bruce has 5 ideas, and I have 5 ideas. Mathematically speaking, we each get to leave with 10 ideas. We've doubled our ideas. And if these ideas are valid, we put them to work, what's going to happen to the probability of us hitting our goals? How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Bruce Berk. Bruce, thank you again for joining us, and Jim Shorkey. And guys, you're going to hear these two jump into legacy, jump into how they've parented their kids, jump into what sales training looks like, and jump into why the heart of all of this, at the heart of it all, is why we want to teach people how to rethink you and how to learn enough and get this ingrained in them so they can pass it on to their children's children.
Yeah. I'm very proud of my son Daniel, because Daniel's the youngest. And if anybody's going to be subject to the splendors of living in the Shorkey household, it would be Daniel. He's the baby. He's spoiled. He's this, he's that. And again, like you said, he wanted one thing. I said no. He ended up with 10 of them. It's just the way it was. Yeah. And so at any rate, he goes to work at a dealership. It's a great story. I'll tell you the whole story. He goes to work at a dealership, and he went to Votech when he was in high school because he just didn't like the whole idea of conventional. He just didn't like it. He wasn't good at it. He didn't like it. So we decided, Amy and I, that we would have him go to Votech. So he goes to Votech to learn how to be a mechanic, a technician. And as part of the deal, they do an internship.
Yep.
And he actually did that at the dealership.
Yep.
So he worked really responsibly and really hard. He ends up graduating from high school. He did get the degree. He passed all that. And he goes to work at the dealership full time as a technician, ends up becoming a master technician. And he's making good money. Let's just leave it at that. He's doing well. He's just a good kid. And so he decides he wants to sell cars. And so he's calling Dad for advice. So he calls me, and I said, here's what I want you to do. I said, I want you to go. He was gonna at the time work for Mike Engel. I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Mike through Michael Engel's training. I want you to do exactly what Mike Engel tells you to do, and I want you to do it for 6 months. And I think it was 6 months. It could have been 3 months, whatever it was. It was a time. I said, I want you to do exactly what Mike Engel tells you to do, and I want you to do anything different. Do exactly what he tells you to do. So he goes through this process, and again, I don't recall the time frame. He would know. I said, when you go through that time frame, I want you to call me, and I'll tell you what I want you to do next. He calls me, Dad, the time's up. He said, what do I do next? I said, okay, I want you to get a notepad, and I want you to get a pen or pencil. He said, okay, I got it. I said, here's what I want you to do. What do you think I told him?
Do exactly what Mike Engel
You know the story, you cheater. I said, I want you to do exactly what Mike Engel tells you to do. Don't change anything. I think I said nothing. Don't change nothing. Don't change nothing. And so he proceeds to do that, and he's moved up in the business. And but what makes me the point to my story, what makes me very proud of Daniel is I get feedback, and they tell me he is the hardest working guy in the place. You can't believe this. He's unbelievable. He's relentless, and he makes phone calls, and he talks to clients, and he just works harder than anybody else in the organization.
Wow.
And it's dang. Mission accomplished. Good job, Jim and Amy. You raised this kid right. And so how'd that happen? We were leaders, and we believed in what we believed in. Did we give him everything? Yes. Did he have to pay the price for the everything? Not really. I want one. No, you can't have it. Here's 10. Whatever. We gave in to that. You know what? They're rocks. These 4 children, since I left the business, now that they own it. I don't. They own the business 100% independent of myself. I have left the business. I would say, conservatively speaking, they have 5 exits since I left. And I think it might be even approaching 10. It's way bigger. When my dad died and I took over the business, 40 employees roughly, it's now over 1,000.
Wow.
So you do the math. Now, when I left, by the way, it was, I don't know the number exactly. I think it was around 500, 400, whatever it was. I don't know. But it's over 1,000. And yeah, they've done very well.
Yeah. Wow.
And Daniel was the one who found the book in my.
Let's see. He was a technician,
Yeah, he's the one who found
and
it.
a good one. Yeah, Master Tech, that's a big deal. That he's actually, the dealership has actually started, I think probably to a degree, maybe because of what Daniel did. They actually have their own training program. It's really cool, where they bring in people who don't know a whole lot about the technical aspect of things as far as being a technician is concerned, and they train them, and they put them through a course, their own course.
Yeah.
They actually have master technicians that teach this course, and they move them up. And you talk about, that gives me the chills. You talk about powerful. So there's this young man or girl that wants to be a technician, don't know what the heck they're doing, and they have I forget what it's called. It's a program, though, in the dealership, very similar to Votech. Wow. They have their own Votech, in other words. It's not Votech. I can't steal that
it's
name.
great, though.
But yeah, they have their own
Great
program.
for the organization.
It is. It really is. It's a way of giving back to the community as well. To be able to bring somebody in, whether it be, let's say we take somebody in and they never sold cars before, and we teach them the Jim Shorkey way, and they go do the Jim Shorkey way exactly as we tell them to do it, and they end up being very successful, and then we keep teaching and training and teaching and training and teaching and training, and they end up doing even better, and we keep teaching and training and teaching and training, and end up doing it. Sounds like Rethink You 2.0, does it not? We keep doing it and doing it. They max out on the sales, and because they're so good, they get moved up. There's several instances of that where somebody gets moved up, and so now they're in some sort of a beginning level management situation, and they're trained properly, they do well, they bring more value to the hour, like we teach in Rethink You 2.0, and they get moved up again. And there's a guy, hope he doesn't mind, I'm going to call him out. Adam Haywood is the general manager of the Kia dealership in North Huntington. Adam, thank you. You're going to make me cry. He's hitting it out of the park. I hired him myself, and I trained him myself on how to sell cars. And he knew nothing about any of it. And I taught him. And I beat the living crap out of him to do it my way. And he'll tell you this story. You can, if you're interested, call the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group and talk to Adam. And make sure he has time. And I heard Jim Shorkey speaking about you, Adam. Tell me, is he telling me the truth? Did he do what he said he did? And he'll tell you the story. But we fought, and I pushed because I knew I was right. And so now he's running the dealership. He is the guy. He's what I was. And now guess what he's doing? He's pushing the Jim Shorkey way. And they're saying, Adam, you're full of crap. And he's saying, no, I'm not. Do it my way. That's all I want you to do. Just do what I tell you to do. Sound familiar?
Absolutely.
Sound familiar. And look at what's happening. That Kia dealership is really successful.
Yeah.
I'm not even there.
Yeah.
Not even there. Not involved. The legacy.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was going to use. The legacy with your children, as you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
The legacy with mentoring people and teaching them and training them.
It's vibrant.
This is really what this process is about. This real, visceral conversation is about how do we not just leave that mark, but how do we teach people the things that have been really valuable to us, right? And pass it on.
And what's really even more valuable, ladies and gentlemen, how do we teach it so well that you teach it? See, in all my readings, you never really know the program as well as you could until you can teach it.
That's right.
And if we can get you to teach it, now we have a movement. So here's how it works. You teach somebody else, they teach somebody else, maybe 5, maybe 10. They're in a group meeting. And well, how did you know this? I learned it from Adam. How did he know it? He learned it from Jim Shorkey. How does Jim Shorkey know it? He learned it from Mr. Hamilton. And on. It's called the butterfly effect. And it's a real thing.
So Bruce, what does that look like for you now? What does that mentorship piece look like? I know, I hear you as we're sitting and as we're talking and as we did the last episode, I can see you just wanting to take all the and learn and teach. And
so how that looks now is Jim had suggested 10 years ago that I form or help create a mastermind group, and I did. And that was part of the things that really accelerated success. And the gentleman who purchased my business was part of my mastermind group.
wow, come on.
And which, of course, is just, it's wonderful for me because we're very close. He's a wonderful person. And he had a store. So we had similar things. And both of our stores started to get better just by talking. And we shared a lot. We shared everything. He knew when I was losing money and making money, or
That's
when I
powerful.
had difficulty with staff, or when my staff was great. He knew it all, and he shared that all with me too. And now that I'm no longer in the business every day, Josh and I, that's the person who purchased the store, we still have a weekly discussion of the key concepts and the progress we want the businesses. He has two now, Berk's and the 700 shop in Indiana, PA. The progress that we want these stores to make. There's so much left on the table, on the bone, that they're still there. And most of it is loving your customer, loving your sales staff.
He stole that from me, by the way.
I did, but it's true.
What's the last one?
And being humble.
Yes.
And we've done that.
That's wonderful.
And Josh is doing great. And because he's doing great, I feel great.
Yeah. And he gets your perspective. It's a mastermind alliance. It's what we teach in Rethink You 2.0.
Yeah,
Like,
it's in there, yeah.
he's welcoming your perspective, right? I'm sure he's, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's like you get to work together. And Berk's may be a whole different thing in 10 years from now.
Absolutely.
And if I could, I'm a mathematical guy. So let's reduce this to math. The Mastermind Alliance is all about math, and it's all about probability. So in terms of goal achievement, what can I do today to increase the probability that I'm going to hit my goal? And where the Mastermind Alliance is mathematical, it's pure raw math. So if I show up at my Mastermind Alliance, and Bruce is part of that Mastermind Alliance, so it's Bruce and I, and Bruce has 5 ideas, and I have 5 ideas. Mathematically speaking, we each get to leave with 10 ideas. We've doubled our ideas. And if these ideas are valid, we put them to work, what's going to happen to the probability of us hitting our goals?
It's going to skyrocket.
Just stop and think about that. It's a mathematical proposition. I'm big time into math. I love math. I love probability. Last time I checked, 1 + 1 still equals 2, always will. It just does. It's just the way it works. It's math. And so when I'm looking at goals and I'm looking at the strategic continuum and what that means, it's all math. If I have a strategy that is a C strategy, mathematically speaking, the probability is that I'll get, mathematically speaking, C results. Now, if I want to improve those results, if results really are the name of the game, that's the end of the equation. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 is the result. Now, if I want to make it 3, does it make mathematical sense that I got to change one of those numbers to 2? Now, 2 + 1 = 3. And so as I change the strategy to where I'm now at a C strategy, if I want to improve my results, I got to move to a C+ strategy. And so I do that. And holy cow, the results have improved. The needle has moved. And so if it worked once, does it make sense that it will work again? Absolutely. So why don't we try to get it to a C, from a C+ strategy to a B- strategy? Holy crap, the needle moved again. And so we preach, and it is a preaching, in Rethink You 2.0, we preach that the bare minimum strategy that we want to have is a B strategy, and preferably B+. So we preach B to B+. And that sounds counterintuitive because, well, what about A? Sometimes we spend too much time trying to make it an A. If we get it to a B to a B+, that really is, air quotes, good enough. Now, the next component to the mathematical equation, called the strategic continuum, is the execution. Now, if you do the math, okay, if you do the execution at 50%, you're going to get bad results versus 60%, versus 70, versus 80. So we want to get that execution level of the strategy as close to 100% as we can. That's the one I'm not willing to compromise on. I want 100% execution. This is what I beat into this guy's head. I want 100% execution. I can't do that. Why not? You tell me why you can't. And he'd give me some line of bull crap, and I say, you're full of crap. Yes, you can. You can't. You're not even at the close to where you could go as far as peaking out. We talked about that from the perspective of push-ups. I can only do 3. You can do more than 3. Maybe today you can only do 3, but if we go to work on it, we'll get to 4, we'll get to 5, we'll get to 20. Jim Rohn talked a lot about push-ups. In my physical malady of stroke recovery, I was with my physical therapist, and I'm telling you, Mark was on here. I'll bring him on again if you want verification. So he has me on my back. I'm on a yoga mat, and he's holding my feet down. And he said, and I had boxing gloves on. He said, I want you to do a sit-up, and I want you to, when you get up to the top of the sit-up, I want you to punch these pads. I guess he had his feet on my feet. He was holding my feet down, and he was probably in a squat position. He's very physically fit, so he's in a squat position. You got the pads. Okay, sit up, punch each pad. I could not do a sit-up. I could not get my shoulders off the ground. That's how weak my core was at that time. And I really was disappointed. It's an obstacle. It's a setback. So I said, didn't even say anything to Mark. I couldn't do it. I could not do a sit-up. Not one. Couldn't get my shoulders off the ground. Okay, next day, next morning out of bed, I'm going to figure this out. And I started working at just trying to strengthen my core, doing a crunch even. And I got to the point where I could do a crunch. And I got to the point where I could do a better crunch and a better crunch. And I kept working at it. And next time Mark comes, no conversation, we did what we did. And 2 weeks later, I said, okay, Mark, I'm ready. Let's do it now. I did it. The other day, I did 8 sit-ups. Don't tell me what you can't do. There is a way. And Rethink You 2.0 is that way. And the same thing you do to improve the sit-ups, it's the same thing you do to improve your marriage. The same thing you do to improve the sit-ups is the same thing you do to improve your business. It's all the same. It's all about the right strategies executed as close to 100% as possible, and you will have gains. And guess what? Yesterday I had physical therapy. I banged out 20 push-ups. And on my day 1 after the surgery, I think I did 4. And I struggled to do 4. But now I'm at 20. I probably could do 23, 24, but he had already beat the crap out of me when it's finally time to do the push-ups. I was already freaking hurting. But I did get 20. And I worked hard to get to the 20. Believe me, I did. But Jim Rohn talks a lot about the push-ups. You can Google him. He's deceased. But you still have the joy of listening to him today. Just Google, YouTube, Jim Rohn on push-ups. It'll come right up. And it's pretty neat the way he approaches it.
Wow. Bruce, Jim, thank you guys for just talking about how to leave a legacy, right? What is that? And what is that mentorship process like? And Jim, just sharing real moments of defeat, right? I think it's so easy to be like, man, they crushed it. They did everything right. But there's still moments of setbacks.
There are.
There's still moments of defeat. And so
Absolutely.
thank you, Jim, for sharing. Thank you, Bruce. And guys, just leave a comment below. It's a conversation I wanted to have with so long with Jim and with Bruce about leaving a legacy. So thank you both.